In the live version of this class, I have people create their own subdomain. We're going to be using mccdgm.net. I'm at the mccdgm.net cPanel login, which you can get to by typing in mccdgm.net/cpanel. When you hit enter, it changes its address to mccdgm.net:2082, so it redirects. Don't let that throw you. Now, if you're taking the class in the online version, you'll be given a username, and the initial password the first time you log in is usually set to JavaScript. So I'm going to log in with the master account. And we're going to take a quick look at cPanel. Now, I will do another video on controlling your own cPanel account, but because I feel that many of my students may go on to have their own internet business, I want to talk a little bit about how my account is different than what you'll typically see. First of all, we have basically our own virtual server. We're using InMotion hosting, and that gives us an additional item that you don't see in cPanel. We have our web host manager. This is something you might want to consider if you are reselling services to a client, because you can give them their own subdomain with their own full address of their whatever.com or .net, and you can have total control over it. So you can resell this and still have control to go in and edit the services. So when we're creating our new subdomains, we can do that through the web hosting manager. So I can go into account functions and I can choose create new account. And sometimes it takes a second. I have spent a lot of my life waiting for computers to work. And you can see it's still thinking, it's spinning up here. Okay, so if you ever are in the position where you're running your own virtual server, when you create a domain, you're actually creating a subdomain. So I'm going to call it marystudent.mccdgm.net. So mccdgm.net is the domain that we host here at McHenry County College, and Mary Student will be my subdomain, and you'll get to it by going to marystudent.mccdgm.net. Now, it usually takes 24 to 48 hours for this new domain name to be populated over the internet. So it's not going to show up in search engines right away. And even if you were to go in and type that address, and I'll show you that after we start, it will take it a few days to populate. So I'd put in my username here, and usually it's going to be just the same name as your account, Mary Student. And we'll put in a password. And I would typically not create email when we're doing this in class. Students have the option to put an email that they want it sent to. I'm going to skip that. I typically pick the student. I gotta clear some of this out. One that just limits your gigs to 2. I ignore everything else pretty much, and then I hit create. And that's going to create the new account. Now there is a way to do this where I can upload an Excel file and do a whole bunch of them at one time. I'm not going to show you guys how to do that, but I wanted to show you the process. Then if I tried to go to that site on the internet because it just created, it may or may not work. So I could do marystudent.mccdgm.net. That is the one that's created, and I'm going there. Now if I were to do a search for it, it's not going to be on the search engine. It has not had time to be indexed by Google. And usually this can work anywhere from right away to minutes or hours later before it will go there. It is the exact address. I'm able to get in here and you can see that it's empty. Let's see what it did as far as going in to manage it. So I'm going to close the web host manager and I'm going to go to cPanel, which is again mccdgm.net/cpanel. And at this point, I should be able to go in using Mary Student, and I should be able to put in my password and log in. And so that has created a full cPanel subdomain that I can use to control my web server. And typically your web server is actually a file folder, one of many on a web server, the whole computer box. Usually one computer can host many, many, many websites. So that's how we create the accounts. If you're in a live class, we will do that live. If you're in an online class, it'll have been done for you before you get in there because I don't hand out the master password.